Hi everyone, it's Tamra. We're gonna try this again. Mr. Steve Zapata is going to join me shortly, and we're talking about love today. Is love real? I think a lot of people think that love has become a figment of our imagination and something that is unattainable. And I think a lot of us struggle with trying to find deep connection. Let's see if I can get him in here. As we're so in frustration. Oh, sorry guys. Ah, yay! We got success!
That was easy. What happened?
I don't know. Kind of funny because I only got 14% of my phone too. I'm laughing to finally get it, and I don't have enough phone battery charged. That's funny. Hi everybody. Oh, look at all the fun people that are checking in. Hello guys. I'm so excited you're here. Hi Kevin and Christy. Oh my gosh, how exciting. I was just sharing with everyone that we're going to talk a little bit about love and is it real. And I think that over time, a lot of us have found that love is very difficult to obtain, and we feel very restricted by our relationships. So I think love, for a lot of us, we've learned conditional love so well. What I like to talk about is unconditional love. Do you think unconditional love is real, Steve? No.
No, unconditional love, that's something, we were just talking earlier. Unconditional love is something that absolutely has to be learned. When we start off, everything we do is conditional. When we're kids, it's all about, do I get this toy? Do I get this food? Do I get this treat? So it's conditional. Hey, I love you. And then if our parents don't give it to us, we throw a fit, we don't love them. And as we grow up, we have those nasty habits. So unconditional love has to be something that we really have to groom and grow and learn about. And it also is conditional upon our partner. If our partners understand that, boy, what a relationship we can create. And that's what most of us have missed. And the reason we've missed it is because we don't talk about it, we don't share it, we don't teach it. And, nobody in our past, I always say, when I ask people, would you be interested in coming to a love workshop? They go, oh, I know all about love. And I go, who taught you, right? You'll hear me say that all the time. Who taught you? Because even if you've got a pretty good parent team who really was exceptional, did they really teach you, or they just give you an example, right, Tamra?
Oh, absolutely. And I think a lot of times we learn a lot by example, but not necessarily is it a healthy example always that's being displayed. Quite often we're shown what the opposite of love, like being conditional, like you were just saying. If you do this, I'll buy you that. We have a lot of carrot dangling in our parenting style, and so a lot of our love language is taught through our parents, and the way we interact with them. And so we get very invested in that, right? We think, if, someone loves me, they would do these things, and that means love. But quite often, actually, love has nothing to do with it. It really has more to do with being present and connected and available and emotionally, somebody who can emotionally match you. Somebody is willing to let you be in your state of dysfunction or sadness and not make it right, wrong, good, or bad. And that can be very difficult. Thanks, Sean, for asking, what is love? I love that. It's a great question. Would you like to answer that, Steve?
I would love to. And we use our own definitions, of course. Love to me is putting someone else way in front of yourself in all of your beliefs, habits, desires, and expectations. Just because I expect my significant other to rub my back and she doesn't mean I go, well, then I'm not going to do this for you. It's all about what can I do for you? What can I offer you? What can I bring to the table? I've been doing this for about 30 years, and one of the things I ask is, how often do you ask your significant other, what would make you feel more loved today? And let them genuinely answer, because, a lot of people go, nothing, you're doing just fine. Well, really, then to me, that's inauthentic. So we have to think about it. If I ask you something, if I ask you, what did you have for lunch today? You're going to think about it for a little while. But if I ask you, what can I do to make you feel more loved today? And you blow it off with, nothing, you're fine. You didn't really give it a thought, did you? And
No.
so those are the things when we talk about what is love. Love is trying to make the other person feel special, even when they don't make you feel special. Love is giving yourself to them and helping them in every way you can, supporting them when they're down, trusting in their beliefs. Now, trust doesn't necessarily mean I let you do everything that you want. Trust means we have communication so that we can figure out our own right? Ramifications so that we can come together. So especially for parenting, you have to come together. But even on financial decisions, even on buying a car, even on buying a radio, whatever you want to say, something small. Hey, if I'm going to spend money, is it okay with my partner that I spend money? You say, well, isn't that, I shouldn't have to ask all the time. I go, you don't have to ask, but I've met way too many couples who say, you guys watch, there's a show out there called Married at First Sight. And it's a funny little, I'll say, Hulu, where the people are matched by all these experts because of their personalities and traits and stuff. And they actually, the first time they meet each other is at the altar, and then they get married.
Wow, that's intense.
And I think only one out of.
Very systematic.
Yeah, I think it's been on for 3 or 4 seasons, and
real love.
I think I've only seen. Yeah. Well, and the thing is, they're saying that we have found your personalities to match. And we're hoping that if we bring you together.
Digesting, interesting. That's very interesting. I'll have to do that one. I'm holding judgment.
Well, and I blame it. Yeah. And I blame the failure on the people who are bringing them together because, one lady said, I don't like people who smoke. I could accept an occasional smoker. Well, then the guy would, they went on vacation, the guy smoked every day. Well, that's not an occasional smoker. And so the experts should have seen that coming. And then another one was a lady who said, I have a deathly fear of dogs. And the guy had 3 dogs. You're like, who matched you guys, right?
You get good stuff for that guy. That's crazy.
That's right.
Somebody actually added a question here. Can love someone more than yourself? I think what you're asking me is, can you love someone more than you love yourself? No, I believe you must love yourself in order to connect with somebody else's love. If it's not in you, how can you reach and access something that's not within you? My definition on love is a little different, not that it's wrong, it's just a little different. I believe that love should be unconditional, and I believe that having healthy boundaries around love and that feeling of connection creates a healthy relationship. And what I mean by that is loving someone for their imperfections and their beauty and their depth of who they are and where they are in their lives is not wanting them to be different, and not forcing them into uncomfortable spaces by condition. So really accepting them where they are. And so for me, loving someone is not necessarily always wanting them to, do an action. Sometimes it's being sad and being okay with being sad and allowing me to be sad. It's loving to do that. Just to hold space and to be there with someone and allow that experience to exist is a beautiful gift to give someone, and it doesn't cost you anything. It's all about connection. So for me, love is a total connection that is shown by presence and the ability to know yourself, to know that discernment factor, to know what's right, wrong, good, and bad for you. Doesn't necessarily mean it's right, wrong, good, or bad for somebody else. So it's for me, it's a little bit more of a connection type. So I do believe that you must know yourself and love yourself before you can be even available to love anyone else. Steve, what do you think?
Well, and I think I totally agree with what you said. I think you have to. It's like, can I teach you Greek, the language, Greek language? And I can't teach it to you until I know it myself. So you have to love yourself. And I think probably I said you have to love them more than you love yourself. But by that I meant in your actions, deeds, and words. So if I keep saying if in my relationship I go, I don't like that, I don't want this, I want to do that, I need this, then I'm really pushing them away. If I always ask them, what would you like? What do you need? Now, do I have to always do that? Of course not. And when we use the terms always or never, you know that those are terms, conditional terms, and we use them kind of loosely, but you understand.
But I do think your definition is actually accurate, because in order to show love is to know what somebody else's needs are. And the only way you can access that is to know or ask those questions and to think of someone else first. So I don't think your definition is inaccurate, and I think can be misinterpreted, but it's true. You must be willing to hear somebody else's feelings and not make it about you. And I think that's a beautiful way you're just expressing it, that connection comes from that ability to set your personal faulty programming or your attachments to the side to allow yourself to hear somebody else's thoughts, feelings, and understanding so you can connect deeper. So I think your actual definition of thinking of somebody else's first, it does. It's a very important to have that in your element of love. So
You said something yeah, you said something there, and it was like, and that's why I pointed to my head. I was thinking of, now most of the listeners are probably way too young, but it was Johnny Carson, and he did his Karnak impression. But he would, like he'd hold an envelope up to his head, and Ed McMahon would say whatever he would say the question, and Johnny supposedly knew the answer. And so many people think that my partner should know the answer. If they know me, if they really know me or cared about me, if you really care about me, you would know what I want for my birthday, or you would know what I want for.
You need him to be a mind.
You know what I'm thinking. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
It's a false trust. Yeah, if we sit there and to give our trust to somebody else to know ourselves better than we know ourselves, it's silly. That's always self-sabotage right there. It's almost like, if he loves me, he will do this, this, and this. And if he doesn't, then he doesn't love me. Well, you're setting him up to fail because he doesn't know what that airy-fairy thought is. He can't understand that. He may buy you roses.
We don't even know what we're thinking sometimes.
Really? Yeah. So it does. It can, that communication is a broken ability to build trust. If you're making somebody guess what your needs are, it can really hurt you, for sure. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm reading this really quick. Can you see
go ahead.
anything?
Got another question? No, I see nothing yet.
Should you hold back love when dating to see how they feel to avoid heartbreak? Ooh, that's good. Kevin, you're so good. He always gives me such good questions. I love him for that. No, I don't believe you should ever hold back. Your heart needs to be wide open in order to connect with somebody. Now, being accountable to your love is essential. Heartbreak comes from the attachments to something being different than what is. If you're not present and really paying attention to what's available in that relationship, if you paint this belief that, they're something different than what they are, you're gonna have heartbreak. But what I have learned, and I've always walked into every relationship heart wide open, going slow and building trust, literally foundational, slowly cultivates a long-term healthy relationship because you built trust. Trust takes time. It's actions over time that builds trust. So love, being wide open to receive, is the gift of connection. And if you block any of that, the first thing they're going to feel is the denial of access. Oh, she doesn't like me, or she doesn't want me, or he doesn't think I'm pretty enough. And all the stories come out right then and there. So thank you for that great question. Would you like to add anything, or what you'd like?
Well, I think, a couple things kept popping into my head, and you're going to find that Tamra and I probably kick off each other. We're so good. We're doing a workshop coming up in October that you probably should come down to if you value a relationship, if you want to learn how to build one. But in that, I'm always amazed that I've shared so many times with couples, if you love someone, you never want to hurt them. So even if they're leaving the relationship, when you break up with them, understand that our love said they don't want to be with me anymore. So something in our relationship wasn't working for them. And what do I want most for them? Their happiness. And so if their happiness is paramount in my life, then I will say, as much as it breaks my heart, you go find what you need to find.
Yes.
I'm not going to call them names. I'm not going to curse at them. Go find, because sometimes it'll be you. If you're out dating, sometimes it'll be you who says, I've been dating this person for 2, 3, 5, 7 months. And then I go, it's just not where I need it to be. And so I need to move on. And hopefully they will love you enough to let you go find the love of your life.
Yes. And that is really, when you know yourself well enough, you can see that coming. You're not painting the fantasy of them being something different and trying to fulfill those voids in you. And that gives you that space to allow your heart to be even more open, because you're willing to learn more about yourself. They're marrying you back so that you understand who you are and those little shadows that you hide from. Jeremy wrote, please, people should work for your trust. Okay. I'm sorry, guys, I need my glasses on, I guess.
Vanity. I hate a woman who has vanity, don't you?
It's so funny. What are some of the tools you use to keep your heart open? Great. People work to build your trust. If you could clarify what you mean by that, I believe trust is a system of getting a chance to To earn. Okay, thank you. It
No
does. It
fair
takes
laughing.
actually
No
more time
fair.
to build your trust. So now I get what you're saying. So thank you for that. I get it. So maybe I misread that, so I apologize if I did that wrong. I think the hardest part for us is as people of connection, keeping our heart open, we automatically want to like that little clam slam shut because we're afraid of getting hurt. Ooh, guys, I'm gonna let you take this over real quick because I'm about to lose power. So let me go get my charger. You keep on talking about it.
I'm on the spot. I think trust is something that does have to be earned. And I also believe that you have to learn to ask the right questions in a trusting issue, in any trusting situation. I've counseled so many people who start off a relationship. Well, I'm afraid to ask this question. Well, I'm afraid to, it's too early to ask this. And I always say, when is it too early to start finding out if this might be the right person? I had one couple, I was sitting, I used to travel back and forth between Atlanta and Moline, Illinois, so I was constantly out traveling late at night. And I remember sitting like 3 o'clock in the morning at a Denny's and hearing these two ladies behind me. And the one lady was saying, well, how was I supposed to know he'd been in jail? And as I heard the story, I was like, when is the right time to find out? And somebody said to me, well, Steve, you can't just like on the first date say, hey, have you ever been in jail? I go, no, you have to know how to communicate, right? And so you might say, hey, by the way, I was watching TV the other day and somebody got arrested. Man, can you imagine spending the next 5 years in jail? And they'll say, no, I can't imagine that. You go, you've never been in jail, have you? And they're like, well, maybe once. Or, maybe they'll probably say no, but you can always ask the right question early. Pardon?
That's a very unique experience, though. That's not common. I think that a lot of those kinds of things I hear a lot when I worked with a lot in the community of AA. So, I always hear, when should I disclose that I have struggles with addiction? And I think that for a lot of people, that's a dark question. A lot of people have shadows and we're fearful of showing our genuine self and being completely open on things. So I think that, establishing trust, that's a big deal because that's a dark secret that you don't want to be like right out there with right away. So I think it takes, like any friendship, you have to slowly build a friendship based on, is there someone here that's safe? Do I feel willing to share all components of myself? Because it takes time to build that trust, and to just jump in a relationship because you think she's so cute or he's so handsome and say, oh, by the way, I'm struggling with this, and this, you're going to push them away because they didn't get a chance to really build a connection with you, and you're throwing it all out there. So trust slowly has to be built for a reason. It's a chance to get to know somebody and understand the choices they make and why they did the things they did, and really connect.
Now, if you have a chocolate addiction, you should expose that early.
That's me.
Just get that out there.
I have a thing too. I admit it. Confession.
Got any other questions out there? That's cute. I was really happy that we got.
Because approach. Oh, I'm not sure if I understand, Linda. I apologize. I'm having a hard time reading the text, and it's probably just because of the glare going across the screen right now. I've been looking.
Well, are we on our phones? And the
I am, and I had to move because of. It is small, but I also had to move because of.
Wait, I'll put on my glasses and read it for you.
I know that. That didn't help. I've been verified to look everyone up. Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. She's been looking everyone up to get, before she gets invested, to see if they're, on these dates. What a great advice. I think that's a great idea. Going ahead and using some kind of tool to make sure. I think that's wise for both people, not just women. I think it's wise for men too, to do some research on the person you're about to meet for that Starbucks first date or whatever. And
now,
really
and let's qualify. Yeah, we're talking about actual research, not talking to somebody who might be spreading a rumor. Just if you want to Google them to find out what they've been up to.
Google research. Not.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everyone has their own experience with each individual soul, so we can't really make a decision based on a person's integrity, based on somebody who had maybe a really bad encounter on somebody they had a bad day, or maybe they had a bad relationship because they were not connectable. We have to trust our intuition and follow our instincts on some of these things, but also to really, I guess we lost audio. Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you.
Oh, okay. Not sure. I'm sorry, Linda. Thank you for letting me know. I'm not sure what happened. But really understand, you know, that what's this one? I'm reading the next one. I'm sorry. Phone number to research bar in Facebook. Oh, I didn't.
Oh.
You guys are so wise. I love my community of Facebook people.
So we can put their phone number in Facebook?
No, I guess, yes, he says that. Facebook. Oh, that's so interesting. You're just so
Now I'm going to go do that.
Audio is still
Wonder
going.
what I'll find out about you.
Thank you. That is so cool. I would never have known that. That's so fabulous. I love all the educated gurus out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, how little do we know in reality? So when we get into arguments with our partners or our spouse, the answer is, how little do I really know, and why should I be arguing about it, right?
Or maybe you're more attached to your belief system that's not necessarily based on truth. Could be. You never know.
Yeah, look out. Now you're threatening me. Get away.
Yes, right? So anyway, I don't want to keep everyone long. Walter says, hi, Steve. I really, really love that we're going to be doing this now. We are going to try doing this every single Wednesday.
Oh, it's probably
9 o'clock my time. What time? It's in Arizona.
Noon on the East Coast. So Wednesdays at noon if you're on the East Coast.
Yep, and out here in Arizona, it's 9 a.m. I think that's Pacific. I'm not sure. I get that all messed up. Yeah. Not my forte. I'm sorry. One more thing. Does this count as a one-on-one?
That must be Jeff. That's got to be Jeff. Yeah. We call him Grim. He's the Grim Reaper. He takes care of pet removal, rodent removal in the Sarasota area. Yeah, he runs a nice business, Triple R.
That is.
He's a great guy and love what he does. So.
What's your last name, Jeff? Is it Grimm? It says Walter Jeff Grimm.
With one M.
Yeah, that's really interesting. How you were predestined to that direction. Sounds like. What a great idea. It's
really cool. Yeah, and I'm going to be I'm supposed to call into a radio show in Boston tonight, so I'll have to be.
Well, good luck on that, and thank you for joining me. We finally had success. Woohoo! Yeah. All right. See you guys later. Have a great day. Oh, off to a raccoon job now. Have fun. Bye.
Bye.